You mentioned Tyreek Hill, and it was 5 weeks ago that the Kansas City Star first reported that there were two incidents involving potential child abuse as it relates to Tyreek Hill's 3-year-old son. Now, no allegations have been made, no arrests have been made, no charges have been filed as it relates to those two incidents. But those two incidents were extremely noteworthy for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, it's involving a 3-year-old child. And anytime there is an incident where there's an allegation of abuse, there's an investigation, there was a report by the Star that the child ended up with a broken arm, that is concerning. On top of that, Tyreek Hill has a history of off-field misconduct dating back to college, where he ultimately pleaded guilty to assaulting his then pregnant girlfriend, who was pregnant with the same 3-year-old child who is now in the middle of this investigation in Kansas City. Nothing had happened for 5 weeks. We didn't know what was going on. It's just pending. Everything's pending. No news is no news as it related to Tyreek Hill. The news came last night that child has been removed from the custody of Tyreek Hill and his now fiancée. And look, that's not something that just spontaneously happens. This is the product of multiple court hearings, and someone wearing a black robe ultimately makes a decision that the child needs to be, for his or her own good, needs to be removed from that environment. This is a very, very troubling turn for the family, for the child, and for Tyreek Hill as it relates to his status in the NFL. Because we also know the NFL is investigating this situation, and I think at a certain level because the NFL was never able to take action against him for what happened before he came to the league. That's going to be an aggravating factor. If they ever have a basis to take action against him for domestic violence, that is going to make it an even bigger punishment because he escaped any type of a suspension for what happened in college. So, Charean, when you mentioned the if Patrick Mahomes is going to have Tyreek Hill, I think it is a big, big if. And at this point, we just don't know how it's all going to unfold.
Yeah, and Mike, it doesn't matter that he wasn't arrested or anything else. We saw it with Ezekiel Elliott with the 6-game suspension, and I think this guy is going to be suspended or put on the commissioner exempt list at some point, and I think he's not going to be there for at least part of the season. The Chiefs has to hope that he'll be there for the end of the season, but I do think there is a very real possibility that this guy is not going to be with the Kansas City Chiefs for at least the first half of the season. And they have to hope again that he's there for the end of the season when they can go to the playoffs and do what they hope to do, which is get to the Super Bowl this year.
A lot would have to happen to get to that point where he is suspended for the start of the season. In the grand scheme of things, there isn't a lot of time to make it happen. We're already into mid to late April. But when we consider where it is, when we consider the NFL has been investigating this for more than a month, that the NFL's letter to the authorities in Kansas City actually fell in between two of the incidents that generated police reports. The NFL has been engaged, and we can only assume they are looking aggressively for any and all evidence that there would be reason to believe Tyreek Hill was involved in any type of wrongdoing directed to a 3-year-old child. And, Charean, this is why I think the removal of the child from the custody of Tyreek Hill and his fiancée is a big deal, because one of the enumerated potential violations of the personal conduct policy, when you look at the policy, there's a long list of bullet points of things that constitute a violation of the policy. One of them reads, and I'm going to quote it right from the policy, "Conduct that poses a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person." You could make the argument that whatever it was that resulted in a judge deciding that this child should be removed from the home, from the custody of Tyreek Hill and his fiancée, in and of itself amounts to evidence of a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person. Why else would they remove the child from the home? So if the NFL wants to be really aggressive here, and we know, you mentioned Ezekiel Elliott, they're going to do whatever they want to do, and they've got wide discretion to decide when and how long to suspend someone. It would be very easy, if the league wants to do it, to say that the removal of the child from the home constitutes conduct that poses a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person, and that's a violation of the personal conduct policy, and we're going to take action against you, regardless of whether there's ever an arrest or ever even an allegation of child abuse against Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, we've just seen it so many times. They don't need that. And I know they're pursuing this aggressively in their investigation, and we'll see how long it takes. Of course, Ezekiel Elliott's took more than a year. So I wouldn't think this investigation probably is not going to take that long, because I think they're going to want to do something at some point here fairly quickly as they can possibly do it, based on what they've heard so far. It's very troubling, and I know it's troubling for the NFL as much as it is for the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't like this kind of stuff to come out for the NFL. They don't like their players to be involved in this, obviously. And the biggest concern, as we said all along, is for the son and his safety at this point.
And remember, there was a report at some point in the offseason from Jay Glazer suggesting he had heard some trade chatter involving Tyreek Hill. And that may have predated any of these incidents coming to light. But you just wonder how the Chiefs already felt about Hill over the long haul in light of whatever he was looking for financially on his second contract. You throw these issues on top of it, and I think it's fair to wonder, number one, when or if he's going to be on the field this season, and number two, if he's ever going to be wearing that red Chiefs helmet again. These are all things to be determined, but I can't overemphasize how significant it is, if this report from the Kansas City Star is accurate, and there's no reason to believe it isn't at this point, that the child was actually removed from the custody of Tyreek Hill and his fiancée.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.